Hello, everyone. Welcome to EBS. Very happy to have you here with us today. My name is Steve, and welcome to another episode of Come Sit With Us. Today, I don't know if you guys know this fellow, Thich Nhat Hanh. He is a Vietnamese Buddhist monk and been around for a pretty good while. He passed away recently, had a severe stroke, and over the next few years, he was back in his own village, and he just recently passed away. He, interesting fellow. He was a young Buddhist monk during the Vietnam War, protested that, and in so doing, had to leave his country. And then kind of one thing led to another. And at one point, Dr. Martin Luther King nominated him for the Nobel Peace Prize. And they shared a lot of common ground with each other, if you will. And he wrote this book called The Living Buddha, Living Christ. And it's if you can see it there, yeah. It's an interesting book because he's drawing parallels between these two practices. And that he's able to do it so easily, and it kind of makes you wonder, are there really that much difference between all of us? Because so much of the time, I think we're saying the same thing. We say it differently. We have different backgrounds, different cultural archetypes that we pull from, but I think it's kind of the same messages that are there. If you have a chance, check this out. But I was reading this, and this is something that struck me that I wanted to bring to the table today. And that is, a lot of times we come to the mat for many different reasons. It would be fair to say, in a vast generality, is maybe that we're all seekers of something, seekers of peace, of some truth, of some sort of freedom, or whatever it might be. Some of us come to the mat because we seek this thing called enlightenment. And, nirvana, there's another one. What do those mean, right, to each of us? Reality, though, my experience has been that a lot of people, most people, come to the mat or come to developing a meditation practice because of a pain or something in their life. They recently have lost someone, or maybe not recently, maybe years ago, and that pain is still there. Others maybe, might have terrible anxiety or whatever, and they're looking for some peace of mind. And so you think about these things that bring us to our meditation practice. And it's great if what it is I just simply want enlightenment. I simply want nirvana. That's it, That's good. That is great. I have a suspicion, though, that all of us, at some point, all of us stand on the mountain and can see off in the distance and see that beautiful sunset or sunrise that we call nirvana or enlightenment. And some days, or some lifetimes, or some whatevers, we're down in that valley and we don't get to see that beautiful sunrise or sunset. We don't get to see that nirvana out there. All we see are the shadows that surround us and seem to engulf us. And so we come to the mat for a lot of different reasons, just a lot. And I'm kind of drawn back to that concept of we're seeking enlightenment, we're seeking peace, we're seeking healing, right? Maybe we're seeking forgiveness. Maybe we're trying to forgive ourselves. Maybe we're trying to seek forgiveness from others. Maybe we're trying to work on learning how to forgive others that have hurt us in our past, but we're seeking something. And Thich Nhat Hanh in his book here really emphasized that these things that we seek are not far off in the distance. They're not, 1,000 lifetimes away, or 5,000. You got to travel 5,000 miles to get to the promised land, and then you'll be there, and it'll all be okay. His approach or his thought is that really, it's right there. You, in a sense, are surrounded by it. You are surrounded by the very thing that you seek. And perhaps it's the thinnest of veils that separate our awareness of what we are looking for and it being right there in front of us. There's an old saying that's been around forever that, when we first start off, in a sense, we walk this path. Later on, we begin to realize that we always have been standing at the very goal that the path brings us to. And part of realizing that is, yes, we do have to climb the mountains, we do have to make it through the valleys, right? We have to do all these things, but at the end of the day, it's always been right there with us, just right there. And that in that meditative mind is you have that sense of fulfillment, maybe just for a few brief seconds, maybe for half an hour, maybe all day, I don't know. But you have that sense of fulfillment. In some of your meditations, I know in some of mine, I touch upon that. And for a moment in time, I'm not seeking, I'm not looking for something, I'm not trying to heal something, I'm not trying to whatever. It's just a sense of naturally feeling that I am in the right place at the right time for who I am and where I'm at. And it's a very peaceful feeling. And when I come across that, I feel like an opening is occurring. And it tends to make me wonder, do I go around most of the time in this tight little ball, right? Is that what I do? Yeah, probably sometimes. But when I actually breathe, focus on my breath, breathe out all the way, breathe in deeply, let my mind begin to rest, that something starts to begin to open. An awareness begins to grow a little bit. And so, you try to think about, okay, I hear you. What does that mean, though? Right? What's the deal with that? And there are a lot of different visualizations in meditation that we use. One of the ones that I resonate with a little bit is that thought or that idea that imagine if you were in your home, in your living room, right? You were your place of residence, and in your living room, you have invited in this profound teacher. Maybe it's someone that you've always admired. You've read all their works. You know their history. You know their biography, and for you, that person represents something so much greater, right? And imagine whoever that might be for you. We all have something like that. I think we do. Sometimes we relate to historical figures. Sometimes relate to teachers, our modern day teachers, or whoever it might be. But imagine that person sitting in the living room, your living room, with you. And y'all are having a conversation. I have a suspicion that that person probably isn't doing most of the talking. They are probably sitting there very open to you, to what it is that you are seeking. What is it that you feel that you're trying to accomplish, or that what healing do you need? Because I wonder if you actually were in front of a person like that, I think that you would open up very deeply to that person and share very deeply inside those deep things that we all hold on to so tightly, that are so much in our hearts, right? And you share that with that person. I don't think that this teacher is going to be preaching to you or trying to convince you or sell to you a theory about how the world works or whatever it might be. It's not like that, I don't think. I think that they listen to you very closely. And in doing so, there's something about that allows you to open up And as you open up, maybe then you begin to get that feeling of coming home, that feeling of peace, of being at rest, of being fulfilled in a very deep, fundamental way, and all those hurts that we all have them, and we all hold on to them too. And then maybe we start to let those go a little bit, or at least we loosen them up a little bit. And they are not the things that define us so much. And maybe in that moment, we actually get to feel and experience firsthand what it's like to stand in that room that is filled with understanding, with compassion, with love, with total forgiveness for you. No judgment, no one pointing a finger, no one saying you're not good enough. You're not feeling any of those things that we are so conditioned to feel. We're not feeling those. And perhaps for the first time in a long time, what we're feeling is a sense of completeness. So today's meditation is a visualization exercise of that teacher, whoever that is for you, is in your house, your home, your living room, sitting right across from you. You've let this person into your own personal abode, your own home, and you've let this person come in, and there they are sitting across from you, and you feel yourself opening up to them. And maybe we visualize that, and if we can feel that, just using our imagination, feel that process of opening up happening. It's like a flower that's just wanting to do this, right? And feel that process happening. Maybe we trigger something that's there. And like with any meditation, you kind of go through stages. The monkey mind bouncing around, that settles out. And then we start to get to certain points in our meditation. And if in this meditation you feel that opening happen, then maybe at that point, all you do is just focus on that unfolding. And just let it be, let it have its own natural course, if you will. We're not trying to force it. We're not trying to make something happen. We're just sitting in that presence and allowing this unfolding to occur. So that'll be the visualization. And what we'll do, usually when we do our meditations here, we kind of walk our way through, breathing, posture, doing a body scan and such. But today, I think what we'll just do is just go into the meditation itself. And so whatever you do to begin your meditations, whether you focus on your breathing, you focus on your body, eyes open, eyes shut, doesn't matter. But at a certain point, once you kind of settle the mind a bit, then visualize yourself in your home, in your living room, with that teacher, whoever it might be, there in front of you, totally open to you. And let's see what that unfolds for us. So we'll do this for about 10 minutes. And then so just see how it goes. Okay, let's take a deep breath. Open our eyes. So I'm reminded of a story that I read one time, which has always kind of stuck with me. And it was this person who had the opportunity to speak to a very great teacher that was passing through their village. She had asked for a private audience with this teacher, and it was granted. And she was asked to go wait in this room for a few minutes, and the teacher would be in there shortly to speak with her. And she went into the room and she was waiting, and then she began to doubt. And as she was doubting, then all that negative self tapes also began to roll through, and how unworthy she was and what was she doing, and this was all nonsense, and on and so forth. In fact, all of that stuff got so strong that at one point she wanted just to run out the door. And she tried her hardest just to stay there, right? And then an understanding began to grow in her that all of these obstacles, all of these voices, all of this stuff were the very things that were stopping her from being who she wanted to be, fundamentally. And she understood that, and as she was understanding it, then the teacher walks into the room, and they look at each other, and the teacher says, we've always have, how was it said? We have already had our conversation, and you understand now. And I am always there with you. And she understood what was happening, and that's what she needed to hear at that time. And so sometimes, I think, if we use our imagination a little bit, and we have a really clear understanding of what's bringing us to the mat, we know what we're after, we know what we're seeking, and we can imagine that there's a part of us that already knows this, that part of us that is that great teacher, the Buddha within you, right? And that we can listen. We can listen to our old tapes really, really well, but we also are learning, as we meditate, we're learning to listen to that Buddha within us. And as we develop that ability to hear, then perhaps we understand things in a little bit of a different light. So hopefully, guys, if this meditation was of some value to you, then practice it for a little bit, and just what would it be like to have that great teacher in your living room sitting across from you? Imagine what that experience would be like, and just open yourself up to that. And in one sense, it's a very real exercise that provides a lot of insight, I think. And hopefully, it also allows us to open ourselves up in being compassionate, not just to ourselves, but to others around us. And nothing wrong with that, is there? So, all right, guys, thank you very much for everything. And look forward to seeing you in person, and look forward to seeing you next week on Facebook Live again. So, you guys take care. Have a good day. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, so I hope you enjoy. Bye.